Yeah, we are on.
Okay. So good afternoon, hello, and welcome everybody to the 6th webinar of ACETECH NetworX Series 2020. I'm Viraj Pisolkar, and as the brand director of ACETECH and on behalf of the entire management team, I'd like to extend a warm welcome to each one of you for taking out time and gracing the platform with your presence. Team ACETECH would also like to thank our very own architect Reza Kabul for putting this much needed discussion on hospitality in the post-COVID era. Today's session will throw light on realistic solutions, innovations, creations, and opportunities that lay hidden for the hospitality industry in the new start. Factors like rigorous screenings at the entrance, new hygiene expectations in bathroom and sanitary ware, use of special fabrics, furniture, flooring, and other amenities in guest rooms, including loose carpets, remotes, minibar, and other detailing, will go under a complete restructuring in this new normal for Hospitality 2.0. The network series has been, of course, generating excellent response, and we are honored with the industry support. I'm proud to announce more than 1,000 registrations for our today's webinar. Further, I'd like to thank our presenting partners for today's webinar, Toto India and Western Flooring. We'd also like to thank our series partner, Shinex India, for all its continued support. We have a short 20-second video on our sponsors, if you can, yeah.
Any problem, sir? Actually, हम दोनों थोड़े रोमांटिक टाइप के लोग हैं।
और ये रूम अनरोमांटिक टाइप का है।
लेकिन स्वीटहार्ट, हम यहाँ पे कुछ नहीं बदल सकते।
ये कहाँ आ गए हम?
Sir, madam, why don't you enjoy our health spa services? And in the meanwhile, I'll see if I can change something.
वेल स्पन?
Yes, ma'am.
जब फ्लोरिंग बदलना हो इतना इजी तो सोचना क्या, बस बदल डालो। वेलस्पन फ्लोरिंग, बदल डालो।
Glass mosaics, the blend of art and technology.
Thank you, Mohit. So I'd like to request Mr. Gandhi, our chairman, to come and speak a few words.
Afternoon, friends, and all the respected panelists joining us from all over the country. I welcome you all to this prestigious platform of ACETECH NetworX Series 2020. As the world is going through a serious pandemic, the businesses and operations across the globe have come to a standstill, leaving all of us to adapt to the new means of communication and networking, as the virtual world has become active than ever. And we learn to make inroads to this new normal and transform this into an opportunity. ACETECH, being the largest networking platform of the country, understands the current situation, and we're proud to bring together the industry through this unique webinar series called ACETECH NetworX. It's a platform which has seen thoughts evoking from some top leaders in architectural, construction, and manufacturing space. Today, I'm very proud to have our country's best hoteliers on this platform, bringing in a different perspective to this series. As every webinar has seen drawing some thought-provoking views from different industry leaders, and we believe it has infused much needed positivity in this time of crisis. I would like to take this opportunity once again to invite all my colleagues and friends from the industry to continue giving their support to this initiative and guide us further in creating something which has longevity in the times ahead. I would like to thank Reza for putting this up with Viraj and team, and I wish you all a very good session ahead. Thank you. Viraj, you can take forward the introductions of the panel.
Thank you, Mr. Gandhi, for those wonderful words. Coming back to our panel today has a very interesting mix of some of the finest veterans from the field of hospitality, and manufacturers who we believe have a key role to play in times ahead. Without any further delay, I'd like to introduce our illustrious panel for today. Architect Reza Kabul, Principal Architect and Founder Reza Kabul Architects. Architect Reza Kabul has envisioned and successfully executed a string of path-breaking projects created on the design philosophy of liberating spaces. He has handled projects for leading names in the Indian real estate industry and continues to enjoy the trust and appreciation with projects that set pioneering benchmarks in architecture design. Though he loves to work on projects of major segments and scales of design, but hotels and towers are his passion. Today, Reza Kabul is an eminent personality in the world of architecture and has designed many famous buildings in India and abroad. Ms. Suma Venkatesh. Ms. Venkatesh brings over 27 years of varied experience across engineering, financial services, real estate, and hospitality sectors. She currently heads IHCL's development, technical services, and projects functions that has been in the forefront of the company's initiatives for growth through greenfield developments, acquisitions, licenses, and management contracts. Ms. Venkatesh is an electrical engineer from VJTI, Mumbai, and holds a master's degree in management studies from Jamnalal Bajaj, Mumbai. Mr. Vikram Chaubal. Mr. Chaubal is the man spearheading the design team of the fastest growing hotel chain in Asia Pacific region. He is the one who delivers profit by design hotels and not just adheres to Marriott International design standards, but also meets the owner's expectations. A musician at heart, he heads a motivated team responsible for maintaining discipline in design and project management for all Marriott hotel brands in the region. A crucial job given how rapidly the brand has been expanding. His extensive experience in the sector includes a stint with the Taj Group, where as vice president, he was responsible for fit-outs, procurement, finance, supervision of the site team, as well as construction. Prior to Taj, Mr. Chaubal worked for 14 years as vice president at the Oberoi Group, heading engineering, operations, and projects. As a part of the Phoenix Group, Mr. Chaubal was successful in commissioning of large market cities in Pune, Mumbai, Bangalore, and Chennai. Mr. Param Kanampilli. Mr. Kanampilli is the chairman and managing director of Concept Hospitality. A true visionary, is a formidable environment champion with over 35 years of active involvement in hospitality industry. He is also the driving force behind phenomenal growth of the Fern Hotels and Resorts, a leading environmentally sensitive group of hotels. He currently manages 80 hotels, resorts, clubs, and service apartments at 63 locations across India, Nepal, and Seychelles, with an additional 35 properties at various stages of development. He is a fellow of the Institute of Hospitality London and a fellow of World Academy of Productivity Science. Mr. Akira Vatai. Mr. Akira Vatai is Director Sales Unit Head Toto at Toto Industries India and has been associated with the company for more than 24 years. Having joined the group in 1996 to 2010, looking into sales division for Japan's domestic business, Mr. Vatai worked closely on various aspects of sales and business operations management. Further, he also oversaw planning for Toto's green building materials division for over a year. Mr. Vatai holds a strong vision for Toto India Industries, which has under his stewardship transformed into one of the renowned brands in India bathroom and sanitary ware industry. He has been instrumental in rolling out Toto India showroom and Toto India first technical showroom in India, which started operations in 2019. Mr. Vatai believes that trusting people fosters creativity, and it's always teamwork behind every success story. He's a strong follower of company business practice, Toto design philosophy, and promotes initiatives which support Toto corporate objectives and strives to create Toto fans around the globe. Mr. Mukesh Savlani. Mukesh Savlani currently heads Welspun Group as CEO and has been a part of Welspun family for more than 15 years, spearheading various divisions in Welspun Group throughout his career. Mukesh has a strong corporate social values and has led multiple social initiatives in education, environment, and health empowerment. He has also played a pivotal role in Welspun India, becoming the largest home textiles company globally over the years. Thank you all, and I wish everybody a great session. Thank you. Over to you, Mr. Kabul.
Good morning, everybody. It gives me great pleasure to be with such an eminent panel, all stalwarts from the industry. Thank you very much for coming on board. Thank you, Viraj. Thank you, Sumit. So today we are going to look at the hospitality post-COVID-19. Travel, tourism and hospitality is a $28 billion industry consisting of leisure, MICE, adventure, heritage, and niche hospitality. It's one of the most affected by the pandemic, and we are looking at a change of mindset of travelers all over the world. Although it is difficult to comment on the post-COVID situation, but the hotel chain needs to reallocate the budget into something more futuristic and technology-driven, focusing on plans for attracting business. A lot of questions come to all our minds, and that is how we are going to be moving forward and how the brands are going to be looking at, post-COVID. What precautionary measures or guidelines should be taken moving forward for the guests, screening of guests in the hotel? How would you be serving breakfast to the guests in the hotel? What would happen in a twin room when there's a business conference? What happens to the business for banquets and marriages? So these are some of the questions all our developer friends, all our owners are asking. And that's what I thought I should be putting these questions to my panel. Vikram, I would like to start with you. You're the largest hotel chain in the world and maximum number of rooms. What should an architect keep in mind carrying out, retrofits from now on? Because we would have to look at a lot of retrofits for the existing properties and the under construction properties. And there are a lot of properties that we have on the board, and the clients want to go ahead, maybe not immediately, shortly. So what should we keep in mind? What's your advice to all the architects, designers for the future?
So, hi everybody. Good afternoon. Well, the whole scenario has changed now, Reza, and the whole team. I mean, what we did in the past and what is expected of the future is going to be two completely different things. You're right, new construction is going to take a very huge slowdown. There's going to be a maximum increase of cost of construction, loss of migrant labor, that is going to take part. So there is going to be a problem on that side. There is also going to be issues with trying to finish off the existing hotels. However, we are very keen to assist all our owners and developers to say that if you have something going, we're happy to help you finish it off. Even remotely, if we can assist. That's what's happening most of the time. Some parts the labor has arrived. What we have at Marriott is, you're right, we have the largest number of hotels, and unfortunately at this stage everybody is going through the phase of slowly opening up their systems. China is already doing about 30% occupancy, and the rest of the world is picking up, and everybody's probably looking forward to getting past this COVID. I mean, you could speak for the whole day just on the topic of what to do in the rooms and stuff like that and what to do in the events, but there's so much has been written about it. We have made guidelines. We have made guidelines for event management, for event planners. We have made guidelines. I'm sure most of the chains have done that, right from your chauffeur pickup to your exit, how to make touchless technologies, especially with key card controls, elevators and stuff like that. On the other side, what we also want to do is, we've got prototype models which we have designed for some of our brands, which along with the BIM packages, the building integration packages, have been a very good success in Asia. So it becomes much easier for a new developer, even if he has an existing shell and core, and if he wants to use this, the package is excellent. It just works like magic, I believe. And we have done 1 or 2 experiments in India, and it gives you the whole architecture and design plans. It gives you the colors, the mood boards, the renders, everything. And it also gives you a BIM story where you can actually see, this reduces your cost of consultants, your economy of cost of product. So all this is there. We are trying our best to see how not to make it very strenuous or difficult for the owners, because this is a phase that we're all going to go through for a very long time before we get out of this mess.
Right. So this package, we've discussed it earlier as well, and I've always disputed this thing because I say that, I am doing a lot of projects in the US, and this package works perfectly for the US, where you've got a green field, you've got, a lot which is just a square or a rectangle lot. But in India, we do not have that kind of a lot, We have lots of shapes and sizes. So it doesn't fit in, it doesn't work. We've tried it in the
We have to try, Reza.
I would say, okay, you take a
Idea is to
model.
make life easier for people. At least, you don't have to go back to the drawing board again and again.
No, I dispute on this. We will discuss it later. This is a different subject, so we'll discuss that later.
Yeah.
Suma, Taj is a homegrown brand, and it's grown globally. You've been in heritage hotels, luxury, business, entry levels. So what do you look at with the, current situation? Recent surveys indicate that quite encouraging, and a lot of people have already started looking at traveling. I mean, at least in the US, they've started looking at traveling, and the surveys say that 50% are ready to travel within 2020 itself. 75% are looking at, out of the 50%, 75% are looking at traveling with families, and 50% want to travel regional, 40% want to travel overseas. What are the precautions the brand, Taj as a brand, is taking to get back the confidence of travelers in India?
Thank you, Reza. See, Taj has been a brand which has been around for more than 130 years. And the recent brand survey showed that Taj is probably the best regarded, and it has the highest brand recall and brand strength. So Taj also stands for trust, awareness, and joy, like we say. And our guests actually, it's a very strange brand. I think probably after Mahatma Gandhi, India has exported. The second brand is Taj. It has that kind of national appeal and love that the people of the country have for this brand. For us, when we started this, and this COVID pandemic has really put us all into a difficult quandary, what we have done is we have relaunched Tajness as Tajness Commitment Re-Strengthened. So the new norm, or the Tajness revamped, is based on 4 pillars. One is social distancing, or physical distancing, as some would like to call it. Personal protection, that is protection of our guests, of our employees, of our colleagues. Safety, sanitization, and hygiene. And food safety and service. So these are really the 4 pillars based on whatever we do, and whether it is the offering, whether the service that we offer will be based on these 4 pillars. So now, to your point of business coming back, yes, human beings are social animals. It's not always possible for people to just sit at homes and do their business or interact with other people. There is this need to go out, travel, meet people. I'm sure adoption of technology has been the fastest in the last 2.5 months, thanks to COVID. But I don't think any one of us would be happy doing Zoom calls or team meetings for the rest of our lives. So people will want to step out and travel, and we are already seeing a lot of green shoots. We are seeing people that are looking at doing, as you mentioned initially, staycations. What we also see is gradually people want to step out and do more driving holidays. And when I say driving holidays, we have launched a product, the 4D experience, which is Dream Drive, Discover, and Delight, because this probably is the best time for everybody to discover your own country, because domestic travel is what is going to come back initially, rather than international travel, and take some more time for foreigners to come in. So when we are looking at welcoming these guests who come on driving holidays or who come on staycations, there are huge number of initiatives that go right from their arrival experience to what their in-room guest experience is, which really is hinging more on trust and hygiene. When a 26/11 attack had happened, the first thing that all the hotels did was scanners, metal detectors, and people did feel secured coming to hotels. The new norm is going to be based on hygiene as a security measure. Whether you're entering a place which is safe, where the food that you are being served is safe, and that you're not going to take infection back home. So I think there are huge number of initiatives, and a lot of international chains such as ours are also doing similar things, whether it is social distancing in all public spaces, the way your furniture is going to be placed, the way you're going to have circular demarcations for people to move around, seating in restaurants, so that you have physical distancing between two tables. Also, people sitting on a particular table, there'll be limited number. Also, guest room hygiene. How are you going to sanitize it thoroughly before the guest comes? In fact, we have set a standard of at least resting rooms for 72 hours post sanitization before a guest checks in. And initially, yes, the demand is going to slowly pick up. So you don't want to just turn around rooms and get people infected. So we have our own list of what we will do to maintain the utmost standards of hygiene and safety for our people. Because as I said, T stands for trust, and we cannot do anything that's going to dilute that trust which our customers repose in us.
Right. Thank you. Great thoughts. Yes. The cost would be escalated looking at all these things. So, I mean, the end user, the guests would have to pay more for the room. Would that be the case?
See, pricing is not, yes, cost does impact pricing, but pricing is going to be market-led and demand-led. I think the way we are going to look at is not just looking at cost as a one single parameter. See, right now the most important thing is to get people back to stay with you and build that trust. It's not about cost, it's not about price, it's about getting people to get used to you and to be very comfortable staying with you. And if that means investment in certain technology, investing in putting in certain measures, so be it. I think we will have to do that, because any cost benefit will have to look at the medium to long term impact of whatever we do. So I think it need not necessarily translate into higher prices for the guests, because pricing is also market led and demand led. So while there is some correlation, I don't think it is directly correlated in the way you're saying.
Thank you. Param, my question to you is what Suma has said. So you are an entry level kind of a hotel chain, which is, the millennials, the youngest generation. So when you look at your hotels, what do you look at? What would happen? You would have to also adhere to the same hygiene and the, cleanliness and everything in the hotel and the rooms, etc. So what would happen to your pricing? Because eventually it's going to be the owner who's also going to get affected, the promoter or the investor. So what are your thoughts on that, Param?
Presently, it is not affecting our cost line that much, okay? Because what are we doing right now is not retrofitting anything, but creating hygiene standards and practicing hygiene standards. We used to do before, but now it's more rigorous in it, and cleaning is more rigorous, and you're using more sanitizers and things of that nature. But if you get your clients back in, which is what's happening right now, okay, We have started, other than Maharashtra, which has not yet opened out, but the rest of the rest of India, which has opened out, has been very well received. We are doing approximately something like 15 or 20% occupancy already across the board. And we are also having banquets, which I was surprised. I never thought that's going to happen. But it's happening in Bhavnagar. There are 60 people function. And many more bookings are coming in now. Okay, they're doing social distancing. They've done the seating in a nice way, everything of that nature. But it's not the capacity. It's about 20% of the capacity of that place. So right now is getting the trust back. For that, we have got one step ahead and got the heart of the house right in front. Guests can take a tour to the back of the house, see the people working, see everything if they want to, and that has created a lot of confidence. As for the new hotels which we are doing, frankly, little more on the front of the house hygiene is required. Okay, a place for them to sterilize the bags and things on nature. I mean, sanitize the bags, and all those kind of things will be required. But how long is this going to last? There have been pandemics in the world before. They've run there 1 year or 2 years, okay, and everyone goes back to what was it?
Yes.
You know, you need a dining experience. You
Absolutely.
need service. That's what we are, okay? You can't have everything just sent to your house and you eat on your own same table.
Right. The memory is also very short-lived.
They're doing it as a short-term measure, but in the long term, I don't think that these are major changes to be done structurally.
Right. I think memory is also short-lived, as Suma mentioned. You know, the attack that we had in when the terrorist attack happened at Taj and this thing. People were really scared initially to get into hotels. After some time, I think the hotel industry picked up much more, and the business was much better than previously.
True.
So memory is short-lived. Akira, I want to ask you this question now. When they're talking about housekeeping and sanitary and everything, so what do you look at? I mean, how do you propose that you bring in your products which are technology driven, so that they do not have to look at, you know, a lot of these, or they don't have to take that much precautions? You come up with touchless fittings, and you know, so it helps them to actually work better.
Yeah. So even before the COVID-19, Toto has a variety of the range of the sensor-based products, and we wanted to introduce to the Indian market. And as everyone says, after this situation, everyone's prospect has been drastically changed. So everyone is more keen for hygiene and more wanted more touchless products. So we have many sensor-based products like auto faucet or auto soap dispenser or flash bulb for WC, flash bulb for the urinal. So we can propose more for the customer, and our responsibility is to supply those products continuously to our client, our customers. So then we can contribute to the Indian society. So as we have a lot of the products, we can satisfy their demand. So we want to introduce those more and more to our customers.
So they are all touchless sanitary fittings and plumbing fittings, where you do not require to have any touch. So that's more hygienic.
Right, right. For example,
I was talking to another brand, and they were saying that we are proposing to all the hotels, that all hotels, offices, and even residences, that we are going to be supplying you with sensor-based fittings, and we are ready to take back your fittings, and you know, at a very minimal cost, they'll be giving you new fittings. So is Toto planning something like that?
We are planning to introduce like a self-generated model. we have a variety of the range, and one of the products I want to speak is like a self-power, the model which can recharge the battery by itself. So no need to connect AC power supply. So no need to do any civil work for the electricity. So it can change. It can be more easier way to change. So those kind of the products we want to bring into the Indian market. That is our plan.
Okay, thank you. Mukesh, hello?
Hi, Reza.
Yeah, I think I lost for a second. I just lost connection. What are your thoughts on the going forward? You know, I mean, we saw the ad what you put up just now with replacing a carpet with a wooden flooring straight away within I think couple of hours. So what is the thought? But then what happens is when you come up with some kind of a tile or hard flooring, the feel that is there, the softness that is there, the luxury that we have of a carpet, the warmth that is there, it is lost when you go in for a tile or a wooden flooring. So if we want to maintain the carpet, how do we handle it so that the virus doesn't spread?
Well, first of all, Reza, all the panelists and ACETECH team, thanks for having me here. It's a wonderful and honor to be in the webinar with you guys. So, Reza, while the ad that we had, wherein we replaced tires within a few hours, it can be done with the carpet also. So we have launched 2 products in India, which we can replace for a home in less than a day. For a hotel room, we can do it in less than 4 to 5 hours. Essentially, this is carpet tile instead of carpet roads. So if there's a need of a softer feel underneath, a luxurious feel underneath, it can be done with carpet tiles as well. So be it a hard flooring like wood or any other kind, or the soft flooring, both we have available to change pretty quick. The other piece that you mentioned, products in order to help and support the efforts that Vikram is trying to do with Marriott, or Suma is trying to do with Taj, or Mr. Param is trying to do in Fern Hotels, and various other hotel stakeholders. So we are bringing in antiviral carpets, wherein we guarantee viruses will not stay on the carpet beyond 2 hours. So this is essentially to help, as Suma mentioned, they're going in with 72 hours of rest time between the guests. Now, that's a wonderful gesture that Taj is doing. It's absolutely core to the safety of the guest, but we can do it only for so long. And as I've been hearing, reading, and seems like we cannot wish away COVID. We'll be living with it for at least a couple of years. So that's one of the aspects that we are bringing in, antiviral carpets. The other piece that we are doing, and again, echoed by Vikram, Param, and Suma, how to make sure we can help the guests remember the habit, to get into a habit of social distancing or physical distancing. So we've launched a collection called Spatium 6 for offices, and we are launching one soon for hotels, wherein a flooring design will help as a behavior change, as a nudge to the guest occupying the hotel to change their behavior. Just to give you an example, in corridor, we are launching specific directional designs which will let the guest know this is a walking direction and you're not supposed to walk in opposite direction. This is just to help guests walking in the corridor, they do not cross paths with each other and inhale each other's breath, which is important if you want to take precautions as far as COVID is concerned. We are designing special collections for lift lobby, again for guests to remember. When nobody's around, you cannot have people posted on every floor to force a social distancing. It's just that the guests need a reminder, yes, we ought to keep a social distancing. So in lift lobbies, we have designs which will remind people where to stand. In reception lobbies, in cafes. So entire flooring design will help hotel owners to remind the guests of social distancing. So we're launching that collection. The other piece, We are also launching quick dry carpets. Now, quick dry carpets come in handy wherein you want to sanitize the carpets, and sanitizing involves water and solutions and whatnot. And you don't want to wait for maintenance staff to dry the carpet. Your hotel owners will have to do this. Facility managers will have to clean the carpets on a daily basis, or as and when guest is leaving. So we are working, we are launching quick dry carpets, which will dry within no time, and you don't have to wait for carpets to dry to let the guests in. So that's another feature we are launching. The other piece, Reza, that you mentioned, what are we doing for carpets that are already existing in the hotels? So we have identified the chemicals and sanitizers which can be applied on carpets to sanitize them, and that's another piece. We're not gaining anything out of it. That's as a service. We know carpets, we know how they behave, and we know how to take care of them. So that's another service that we are providing to all the hotel owners.
So you would be actually going into the hotel and treating the carpets?
We will be teaching. We will be taking facility managers through the SOP and process, and giving them the preferred use for those sanitizers.
Okay.
Because every hotel has a facility manager and has a staff to take care of the maintenance. So we essentially hand-holding them through the SOP to make sure they are able to take care of the guests.
Okay. Vikram, I would just like to ask you, in New York, they've come up with these things in the hotels that they say that, and not only in the hotels, but in all the towers, that only one person travels in the elevator. So what's happening over there, a friend of mine was saying that 50-story tower, when you got to go down and come back up, it almost takes a couple of hours for you to, go down and come back. So what is Marriott looking at? How are they thinking they should be addressing this issue? Because in a hotel, we've got maybe maximum 2, 3, or 4, depending on the number of rooms that we are serving. So how are we going to address that? I'd like to hear from Vikram. I mean, there's some thoughts on it.
So I think elevator control has been going to be a challenge, not only for people, but also for handling. I think the new technology is going to be more touchless and more card control. You don't need to touch the buttons anymore. You don't need to open the door. I think many of the places I've seen is that they put spatial distances where each person stands on these circles so that they're not within each other's range of breathing. You're right, it's going to get some time to go up 50 floors and come down 50 floors. The building's already ready. You can't create new cores and new elevators now. So it's going to be a difficult one, I think, for the next year or so, until we all get used to the idea of how to work around this concept. That's the main thing, this distancing, hygiene, cleaning, that's going to happen continuously. So these are the 3 mantras that are going to remain with us for the next 1 or 2 years. Do we have any plan to increase the elevator sizes as such? Not in the brand standards as yet, because you never know what is big enough or what is enough, Now, what would you do for a banquet elevator when you have a 16-passenger elevator or a 20-passenger elevator? So there will have to be some kind of self-discipline that will also have to come in. Some people will have to monitor it. It all depends upon the mentality of the people who are using it and the understanding that's going to happen. We are all in this together. It's not that we're forcing it on anybody, So it's important.
No, for the point that you discussed about the entrance, so people are checking in online, or they're coming up on their app. They've got the app. They check in on the app. They come into the hotel and they register once they're in the hotel. They don't need a key. They go into the elevator. That itself can be, you press which floor you want to go on, and you can even just go, and the key is
on the phone.
code, and you just open the door. You go into the room. Everything is possible, and they're looking at it very intensely,
very aggressively, yes.
On that, so that becomes total touchless. You don't touch any buttons. You don't touch anything.
Absolutely.
And all the railings also, they're coming up with antiviral, antibacterial coatings. So these things are in the process.
Yeah,
But
there is a whole document on this that has been published out by Marriott to all the like standard operating procedures for all the hotels. Each probably got more than 200 or 300 points. You go across every area of the hotel, right? Like I said, from the chauffeur pickup at the airport to the exit while checking out. There's a whole process that has been made out. Even for, like I said, for banqueting. I mean, there's a rule for not more than 50 people. But even if those 50 people have to come through the event planner, there are virtual trainings that will happen. There are virtual shows that will happen. That if you're going to have a wedding or a function, this is what your room is going to look like. This is what direction is going to be. So there is technology is going to play a big part in all this, of course, but can't go away without physical cleaning and sanitization. That's the new word.
so
Discipline for
that
cleaning.
is the that the front of the house. But what happens
Yeah.
to the back of the house? Like when you look at this COVID situation, I mean, they're talking of a lot of more air changes, bringing in more fresh air into the room and everything. So you will have to go back and do something to the plant rooms as well to bring
So
in more
there is
fresh
a
air.
there is a whole model that is working on the HVAC of the hotels now. There is a whole bunch of people who are trying to figure out, because since this is a respiratory disease, the chances of it getting carried through the air are 98% more than anything. So they're talking about new types of filters, micron filters, HEPA filters, UV lights, some kind of sterilization into the systems. So all these are going to be retrofits into the existing air handling units and fan call units. But sorry, yeah, I mean, somebody has to do something about this, because like I said, this could be a respiratory thing and it needs to be looked at. Back of the house areas, again, it's the staff who's disciplined to, if they can do the front of the house, they can might as well do their own houses as well. So of course they'll be looking after the back of the house areas, the kitchens, like Suma said. I mean, or like Param said, that you can actually walk into the back of the house and have people monitor to say, yes, we are following all the norms and we are doing exactly what we should do to keep the hygiene and keep you safe. Trust is the word. That is the way to go.
Right.
We check the temperature of our guests as they check in. We also insist that in public areas, they have to wear a mask. In the elevators, we allow only 3 at a time. And the back of the house, everyone has to wear a mask. And their temperatures are also are checked while they come in. So frankly, we just can't allow one person to travel on the lift. Okay, he's traveling alone, he's traveling alone. But maximum we allow 3 and everyone is wearing a mask.
Yeah.
So the chances of cross-infection, okay, if the mask is there, 90% of and we sanitize the elevators and everything of that nature, there's hardly any chance of you have to be worried about. But if you don't if you allow people to walk around without mask, you're asking for trouble.
It's going to be criminal now to walk around without a mask. I think it's statutory.
Every guest
It's
has to
going
wear
to
a
be
mask.
part of our life. Yeah.
It's going to be like an accessory that you wear, like a ring or something, and then you got to have a mask, and then people are coming up with a Louis Vuitton mask and with all the branded masks.
You never know.
So, Suma, I would just like to ask you, looking at the current scenario, what do you think the developers should be looking at and thinking? How do they move ahead? Because we have quite a few projects that we've been discussing, and as architects, what should we look at it going forward? So are you doing some manual for the architects and the designers or something as well?
We have to look at this whole COVID into different stages and different phases. I think there's no point in panicking and just rushing and trying to do something that probably is not really required in the very longer term. And whatever we do, whatever we recommend, we are looking at it as during lockdown, post-lockdown, before vaccine and post-vaccine. And we are already coming to the end of lockdown, so there are a whole lot of measures that we need to do right now, and also post lockdown until a vaccine is found. And a lot of them are more in the form of sanitization, in the form of do's and don'ts on how you actually move and how you use various areas Then there are post-vaccine. Post-vaccine, the way I see it is, it's going to be like influenza or like any other disease that we will all learn to live with. Now, with the understanding of this, if we are going to talk to, let's say, a developer who has signed a deal yesterday and is going to do a project, we know in this country it takes anywhere between 4 to 5 years to build any hotel. So, in all probability, probably this hotel will come, much, much after this whole COVID scenario is going to be very different 5 years from now. And it's not going to be anything like this. Having said that, there will be some changes which are temporary and some changes that are good to do as you go forward. And sanitization, use of the right surfaces, or let's say using special fabrics or upholstery with microfill with Teflon coated. These certain things you can incorporate as even as good things for the future. Let's say adoption of technology. If we can bring technology into a lot of things that we do, it will not only bring in comfort and safety, hygiene, but also will help in reducing the fixed costs of the property. So I think we'll have to look at changes through a different lens, as changes that need to be done in the short term and changes that are good to do in the long term. Let me give you another example. Like, for example, in restaurants, we are saying we will have social distancing. We'll have only 2 people sit on a table. The tables are going to be 3 meters apart. Now, does that mean design-wise, now my restaurants are going to be double the size of what they have been? Area programs are going to start looking different. I don't think so. I don't think that's how we should be doing and creating inefficient buildings. So we will have to really look at this given a certain time frame of when the hotels are going to open and what are the kind of situation that we can predict that it will be of that kind. So I think we should not panic. The way I say is, yes, there are few things that we need to do, like cleanliness, hygiene is a given. If we need to bring in treated fresh air, yes, good quality air is important, whether COVID was there or not. Already, places like Delhi and all with huge pollutions, you were forced to do all of this. So certain things will be done. And so our standards are, they keep getting modified and updated every time. It's not like a fixed point in time. So there will be few things that we will bring in, but I don't really see us changing the whole building standards, everything topsy-turvy, for a hotel that will be coming 5 years from now or 6 years from now.
Yeah, because if you do that, what's going to happen is, if you're looking at 15 square feet per person in a restaurant, that would jump to straight maybe 25 or 30. So that would be cost plus area. And similarly, your kitchen would have to be larger size, because the distance between 2 kitchen staff would be have to be maintained, and all these issues that are there. So I mean, they're big. I mean, I can see a lot of questions coming in on the same lines from the viewers as well. So yeah, that's a big thing. So Param, let me ask you this: with the entry level and the millennial guests that you have, at times I know that there are rooms being shared as well. So how would you be doing, this kind of a social distancing, or you wouldn't be going in for those sharing rooms, or how would you look at it?
So social distancing is best if we emphasize on it, and people can do that, okay? Because the marking on the floors in every place and the marking in the lobby and everything insists on social distancing. But and in public area, they're wearing masks. In restaurants, we are doing away with buffets for the time being, but then we have to, because right now the occupancy is not that high, but if the occupancy start getting higher, then we have to schedule the guests. What time to what time? Because a la carte service at breakfast time is going to be tough if we do not schedule them. So we'll schedule it. You can start a little early and go a little later, but everyone is scheduled for a particular time, and as per the time they come in. That's only.
And how do you eat when you're having a mask on in a restaurant?
No, that time you can remove it. You can remove it while you're eating. Okay.
So then that comes to this thing that you're in a public area and you don't have masks. I mean, everybody takes off their mask when they're eating, right?
Yeah, that's what they're eating. It's for their protection. And once it's...
I understand. I mean, there are a lot of questions which will come up as we go ahead.
There are quite a few changes, but I'm a firm believer that these changes are not going to be permanent. I'm a firm believer that this is a bad pandemic. Lots of people have died. Lots of people have got ill. But India recovery rate is 46%, which is pretty good. Which is pretty good.
If you look at it in history, in the past, when in the 100 years ago, when plague came into India, and it almost killed 500,000 people, and what happened, and we got back to normal. So
we got back to normal. We got back to normal on SARS. We got back to normal on the Spanish flu. So we get back on this also.
Right.
Because hospitality still requires service.
Right.
And let's not make it totally contactless and things of nature. Yes, for the time being, we'll have to do it. Those guests who want it, there's all facilities available to them. They check in. The check-in can be done without them having to, and the mobiles will be tried in the future hotels. The mobile phone to act as a room key may be a possibility. But in existing, we're not going to retrofit it.
Right.
But we throw the key away after you have used it.
Yeah. That's there, but then still there's a human touch to it.
There is a human touch to it, but that cannot be avoided because you can't retrofit those locks totally.
Right.
And we use a lot of Toto and Western products, so we do not have a problem with them. But yes, some form of this thing, sensor operated things will be required. The guests are worried, especially in public areas.
Right. Right. So Mukesh, the other day you were talking to me and you were telling me about some new products. What are you thinking of introducing in the market? So could you tell us something on that? I mean, post-COVID, how do we do retrofits, or we come in with the new projects with those?
So essentially, Reza, similar to what I mentioned, so antiviral products, which essentially will so that you do not need to go beyond 2 hours of a rest time between the 2 rooms or between the 2 guests. That's one of it. And this patient six products which
वेंडर से कभी कॉल करना ही नहीं है, वेंडर से मेल में बात करना है, इज इजियर फॉर ऑल ऑफ अस. वो बात मत करो, आप मेल में बात करो.
Hello?
उन्हें यहाँ शासक वेंडर को लगा देता डायरेक्टली बात.
I think there's some disturbance somewhere.
The other thing that I mentioned was
Mukesh ji, we see 2 phones from your side, Mukesh ji. So I think the other phone is having some.
I think Vikram's phone is.
18.
No, phone is muted. I'm just muting everybody for 30 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we can continue.
Okay, Mukesh, you want to go ahead?
The other one which we are excited about is quick dry carpets. Again, sanitization will become a norm, and strong sanitization needs solutions. You just cannot shampoo and get off with it. And the fact that it has to be done frequently and not once a month, that was a norm before, particularly on carpets. So we are bringing in quick dry carpets, which you can sanitize on a daily basis with the water solutions, and they'll dry pretty much in less than 2 hours compared to before, when carpet used to take at least 6 to 8 hours to dry.
Good. Okay. Akira, you want to add something on the
yeah
for the hotels?
Yeah, we think that the bathroom area in the hotel is very important, of course, and we really want to retrofit something new, something that has a technology one, and we have a lot of the solution for that. So it's no time to explain everything, but we have a lot of the sensor-based products can be fitted in a retrofit way. So we will introduce later to all. So we can, I think we can contribute to the those demand for the new ages, new era.
Vikram, are you looking at something, like what some of the brands have come up with, a robo for guest room service, and so you don't have the human touch in there? Is there something Taj or Param or Vikram you all are looking at?
There are some experiments that have been tried out at a very nascent stage at the lobby levels. You see videos of this saying that your room service can be delivered by the robot and stuff like that. But at the moment, I think it's just being restricted to. I think before the COVID, it was being experimented to just say, how can I serve hot water, cold water, and towels to the guests when they came in? I think slowly, this technology has to change where the robot can be functioned to reach the room on its own. But that's not far away. I mean,
No, but I've seen it. I've seen it in operation in San Jose in a couple of hotels where it is the Silicon Valley, of course, technology hub, and they have it operational. I think it's a 4 points or this thing. They come up to the room and they have a window. You open up the window. You got a bottle of water inside and newspaper or whatever. So I mean,
it hasn't come to Asia Pacific as yet, and it's still time before Asia Pacific decides to get into it, or even South Asia. They haven't tried that in China as well as yet. So I think slowly it will come into this part of the world as well. As an Asians, we love hospitality. We like to be pampered. So we need maximum pampering more than anybody else. So I think it's very difficult to open the door.
That's what exactly my next question was. I mean, Taj is famous for its hospitality. You want the Sir standing outside the door, and you want him the Maharaja style opening up your door. You get off the car, and how do you? I mean, you put your bag in the screening. How are you going to be addressing that screening? Because eventually somebody's going to touch your bag, and then it goes through the screen and it comes out, and then you want somebody to carry it to your room. So how are we going to do all these, the luxuries that people have been used to in India? I mean, world over, you get off the car yourself, you park, you drag your bag to the lobby, you take it, you check in, and you go to the room, and that's it. So how do we address it in India?
So, in the shorter run, you're right. It's going to be difficult to scanning every bag, and bags will be, of course, as they arrive, thoroughly sanitized, and they will have to be taken, to the room by the bellboy. In India, it's not easily acceptable. There's certain areas where people still want their bags to be carried, especially at the level that we operate in a luxury hotels. It is given. But I must also say that one thing this COVID has done is people have now started relooking at some of the things. In the sense, earlier, in public toilets, you had people handing over tissues and napkins to you. Not anymore. I think people will be more accepting now of lesser people around us. Also, culturally, gradually there has been a shift where a lot of people think when you are too many people serving you, it's kind of invading into your privacy. So I think now, post COVID, it's going to be much easier. Less is going to be more. There is going to be focus on quality more than just having more of everything. Whether it is too many people holding your hands, 3 people walking you to your rooms and asking you how's the weather, what is it. I don't think we want that anymore, right? We want a clean, safe environment and a quick check-in experience without having to, wait in longer queues, and people will change. So at one end, it'll be easier to bring that change, which probably 6 months ago or 1 year ago would have been a little more difficult. Just like, security at the gates. If you had done that before 2611, people would feel offended. How dare you check me with the metal detector, right? But people have accepted because it is good for them. Similarly, if there are few things that you don't do because it is good for them, contactless or minimum contact, I think people are going to accept it much better than, and as much as probably their Western counterparts where it is the norm. So that I think will answer few things. It'll be easier to take off from the
Yeah, but I remember, when Taj launched Ginger, so people, they had a mindset that it's a Taj brand. And, they were like, when they got off they came to the drop off and they saw that nobody was there at the door, and they had to park the car themselves. There was no valet service, and they had to they opened the door, get into this thing, come to the reception. People were not ready to accept it at that point of time. So
today, a
being
valet service, people, I will not, if I'm going somewhere, I don't want to give my car to anybody else. I don't want anyone to touch my car, right? So I would like to have, allotted parking lots where I can go and park myself. So things will change. People will, and especially things that are obvious and for the good of the guest in this pandemic time, people will be more prone to accepting it. So I think the new norm will be there, and culturally also people will adopt many, many more things than they were probably amenable to do a couple of years ago.
No, but what happens in like, a lot of hotels, in most hotels actually, you do not allow, Vikram or Param, you will also agree, where I go with my car, I'm not allowed to go into the basement or to the parking levels because of security reasons. So how are we going to do that?
So parking and valet parking is definitely a big issue, which means, even earlier, hotels that did not have dedicated parking for themselves, whether in basement or elsewhere, was a challenge. And I think it will be a bigger challenge going forward. And in the shorter run, it will impact where the guests would go and how they would travel. You're right. I don't see, for some hotels, there is no solution to parking.
No, but even after 2611, we didn't allow any cars to come down to our basements at all.
Yes.
People had to fend for themselves. And I remember the Oberoi used to have a huge line of cars double parked outside the hotel. And I don't think Taj allowed any cars in their basements as well at that time. So I think everything is going to have a process, a procedure to start working around so that it makes life easy for the guest. It's not going to be easy for any one of us, not the guest either. But I think it's a matter of just having to work around it now and enjoy the hospitality.
Some kind of a scanner coming in where you scan the entire car and then you take in.
You have those photographic scanners.
Correct. Underbelly.
Yeah, underbelly.
Yeah, because like in Dubai, I know when you go to a hotel, and we've done a lot of projects there where they have cameras and they read the number plates, they take a picture of the driver, and that is shared with the police authorities. So they have a record. So probably I think we'll have to come up with things like that.
Dubai, the entire city security mechanism is completely different. In Dubai, you don't have any security checks in any hotel. You don't. Yes, because
only
everything
cameras
is centrally. Yes.
Right. So Akira, I would like to ask you, because I've seen a lot of your products when we visited the factory in Japan. There you had a lot of these products where you had the basin itself with the water and the soap dispenser and the dryer built into the basin itself. So are we looking at bringing those products into India? Because I mean, that would be the need of the hour, so that there's no touch, and it reduces a lot of clutter in the bathroom also. You don't have the dryer in one place and then you have the soap dispenser on the counter and all those things. Everything is in one. It's a very nice basin that has been introduced by y'all. So are you thinking of bringing that into India? Any chance of that?
Yeah, that model originally that is developed for the only for the Japan market, and the voltage is only 100 voltage. But we will consider to convert to the 220 to 240 voltage. So only voltage is the issue. So
But that's a doable thing, right? So I think because this would be the need of the hour. I mean, so that it's totally, one thing is that it's touchless. I mean, nobody touches anything anywhere. You don't have to do any retrofits. You don't have to bring any, electric points or anything. It's all under the counter, and it's a very nice design. I think if you launch it, that would be a real hit in the Indian market at this point of time.
Let me consider. So because as of now, so we don't think that will be hit in India, but now things are changing. So let me consider, and we'll discuss.
Yeah, I mean, with technology, you got to look at even your the urinals. What we saw, those. I mean, are we looking at coming up with something into the country?
Yeah, some new sensor urinal will come in next 3 months, 4 months, depend on the condition. Yeah, but I will introduce a new model within this year.
Param, what's your message to the entry-level travelers, the millennials that you have coming into your hotels and bringing the confidence back to them to come back?
The main thing is trust. And we have worked on it and it's been pretty successful. Among the brands that work in our level, we are one of the most trusted brands now. And that is showing the back of the house. There's no other way. Everyone sees the front of the house. Yes, hygiene and distancing and everything of that nature. But the back of the house is what we are showing.
Yeah, I get you. But then, this is a virus which is transmitted with touch. So, I mean, the front of the house is very important today.
It is, of course. There's no doubt about it. That's what the guest uses. But to have trust, he has to see the back. Right. And that is what's important. Also, as far as valet parking right now, we are discouraging it because it would mean additional touch point for no rhyme or reason. As far as room service is concerned, it's contactless. We keep the tray outside the guest room, inform the guest, and the guest picks up what he wants.
Okay. So I think it's good insight from all the panelists. But my take is that looking at all the parameters, looking at all the points that we've discussed, it's eventually going to increase the cost of construction of a new hotel. And when you increase the cost of construction of the new hotel, is the developer going to make money? And at what stage is he going to make money? Whether it's going to take longer to make money? How are the banks going to finance? Because those, the initial investment and everything is going to go higher. When you look at all the mechanical facilities, even the technology that's going to come into the hotel. So what
so, Reza, I have a question for you, since you have been involved in all this architectural work and all that. And do you see any changes happening at that side of the world? I don't know about Asia as yet, but do you see anything changing there that is going to make this COVID thing more feasible, less expensive? I mean, all of us are talking about that. You seem to be on that side of the world at the moment. So are you doing any designing
I look at because all the hotels here. First of all, this thing what we have over here is you do not have those valets. You do not have those. If it's a valet service, it's a charge valet. It's not a valet which is free. Parking is not free in most of the downtown hotels. When you go to a downtown hotel, so people have started avoiding using vehicles. They've started traveling by public transport and going, or an Uber. So you don't the parking. So India is actually a different market altogether, where you have all these services, and with when people even when we are talking of doing a Fairfield in India, the client says, I want a pool, I want a banquet, I want 2 restaurants. Whereas brand
Absolutely.
standards, I mean, you are the better judge, but brand standards in the US
Yeah.
says Fairfield has only
Nothing.
not an all-day dining, it's only a breakfast and
Minimal, very minimal. Yeah.
room and the basic rooms. So India is a total different market. We cannot compare India with this thing, but our developers, they say, no, Fairfield is by Marriott. So it has to have the Marriott, this thing. They want to put like everything that JW has, they want to put it into a Fairfield also.
But that's the whole problem. That's why we brand people have to be conscious to say, please don't do such things. We are here
Correct.
to reduce the
I know that.
efficiency.
Like a lot of
reduce
our
your
clients,
cost.
they want to put Connex and Italian and everything in the toilets in a Fairfield also, or in a entry-level hotel. They want to do that. So it becomes very challenging and very difficult to explain to a client or a developer in India.
Institutional owners are much easier than the first-time owners. It's
Absolutely. The first-time owners, they are basically, normally they go and stay in a hotel, and they stay in the best hotel. They paid X amount for a room, and they think, doing a room is very easy, and they start doing hotels without even giving the proper thought.
Have you seen any changes in room design recently?
Sorry?
Have you seen any changes in any of the room designs that you've been doing so far, or it's the standard?
In India or in the US?
A market study. Sorry, Reza. We do a market study and a financial viability, and show the owner this is the money he's going to get in hand right from the beginning before he starts construction.
I know that. We always do that. We keep on trying to, drive them away from doing all these luxury items, but then they want it. They say, no, we need a spa. It's a hotel, it's a Marriott, or it's a,
I think Indians are getting out of that. Indian owners right now are getting out of it. Earlier it was that.
Yes, they are moving. The second-time hotel owners.
All the Oberois. And
correct.
They didn't care what money they were getting because they were making enough money on other industries.
Correct. So
now,
that was
tough, and they know that each one has to stand on his own and make money.
Correct. So that's exactly what I'm saying. A second-time hotel owner, or like Vikram said, a corporate owner.
That's a totally different ballgame. It's not any no personal signature attached to it.
Right.
In a small town, if I put up a hotel, it represents me, and that is it.
Right. Thank you so much, all the panelists. So we looked at the cost, we looked at hygiene, we looked at bringing back trust. Suma, as she said, Taj, awareness, joy. That's something new I learned.
Trust, awareness, joy. Yes.
Trust, awareness, and joy. So Taj, we looked at the restaurants being downsized, but then all these are going to be temporary. We hope so. Yeah, that's what. So we are looking at that. And of course, the cost escalation, 100% there's going to be a cost escalation to all this when we look at all the technology and everything coming in. So one last note from everybody. Suma, maybe we start with you. What do you want to tell the viewers? What should they be bearing in mind? How we could bring them back into the hotels? Because the worst hit.
COVID-19 is a reality. Okay, so it is there, and we have to live with it. Yes, personal hygiene is of utmost importance. Whatever you do, sanitization of surfaces, all of that is fine, but each one is responsible for ourselves, and some degree of hygiene that we have to bring in. I mean, you can keep sanitizers, but if you don't sanitize your hand, it's only going to have that much impact or benefit. Having said all of this, we are human beings. We will find ways to adapt and live and overcome. I think we will all overcome this together, and I think business will bounce back much faster than we all think. I'm a big optimist, and we're already seeing green shoots, and I think we will bounce back much faster than all of us have been thinking.
We keep fingers crossed as well. So it's like, what do you say? Charity begins at home. So we have to do our own sanitization We have to look at it ourselves more than somebody else doing it for us.
I just, as an aside, I just saw someone, a picture of a guy traveling in a bus with his face mask used as eye blockers, you know. So if we do that, you know, then we can't blame anybody else. So I think it has to start with each one of us.
Thank you. Yeah. Vikram, what about your closing note?
I think what we have to get used to now more and more is the automation, more and more of technology. Less of human contact, less of the personal feel. Of course, we would love to. Hospitality is all about interaction and engagement. But most of it is going to be taken away by these things for the next couple of years. And technology is going to change a lot of things in the hospitality industry now. So it's not going to be easy. The namastes are going to be still there. The shake hands are gone. And you might still have robots coming with your room service.
The jappies and the hugs and all.
They're all gone. They're all gone, yeah. And eventually you'll see the robots coming up to the rooms with your food. So if not today, it's not very far away.
So technology is going to be the next mantra.
Technology and digital. I think companies that adopt digital into their businesses will bounce back very fast.
Yeah.
Correct. So we as architects, designers, we have to start looking at new technologies that we can bring in our design and build it in the new projects that we are coming up with.
Yep.
Param, your take?
Developing trust in clients and a lot of technology that's going to come in. And I agree. We are already working on a digital platform which will be seamless. Most probably it will work and it will continue working. And that's a basic thing because I don't believe this is permanent. So structural changes in the existing hotels, no deal. Hygiene and level of hygiene to be increased. Yes, it is something that has to be done. And COVID has made it more responsibility on us to make sure that we don't infect our guests or our associates.
So it's like suddenly the COVID has come in and it's woken up all of us that look at hygiene. That's going to be the hygiene, right? Mukesh, how about you?
So Reza, first of all, to Vikram, to Suma, to Param, be demanding. Demand what we can do as a supplier to help your guest and increase your trust with the guest. The more you demand, the more we learn and the more we are able to ensure guest safety. So business or no business, please share the concerns that you have and demand the level of technology, demand the level of hygiene you need in the product. We are with you to work with you to improve the trust. Guests need to have to come back into the hotels and start living into the rooms. The other piece, I would say, yes, some people are saying COVID is temporary. Some people are saying COVID may last longer. Some people are saying we don't know. So what we are doing in our business is we are preparing for the worst, but hoping for the best. So we are preparing in a way that, yes, this will last till December. Also, you never know, this might come back again in form of COVID-21 or some other virus, because this thing, as we increase our expanse as a humanity and we get in touch, we take spaces from the wildlife. Virus transmission from wildlife to humans might be a frequent possibility. So the way we are dealing with this is we were preparing our business for the worst, to a point that there might be a virus eruption every year or every other year. But we are hoping for the best, that it doesn't happen again and again like this, because world cannot take more of this. That's how we are dealing with it.
Right. Thank you. Akira, about your take?
Yeah, we have a lot of the hygiene products, and we have a lot of the technology which can fight back against the COVID. So let me serve to provide those kind of solution to all of you, or let Toto can serve. So or we can contribute to the Indian society for the better hygiene lifestyle, hygiene culture, hygiene society. So let me try.
So to sum up, I think COVID is there. We've all have to accept it. We have to look how we've got to fight it. And it's not only COVID. Tomorrow it could be something else, because with this, fast moving thing and virus and everything, and can come up again, something else coming up. So we have to take care. And moving forward, I think technology, hygiene, trust, this should be the mantra to get back the business into the hospitality industry. So as Mukesh said, prepare for the worst and hoping for the best. Thank you. Thank you to all the panelists.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Vikram. Thank you, Suma. Thank you, Mukesh. Thank you, Mr. Kanampille and Akira. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Kabul. Like always, it's been wonderful to have all of you. And looking forward, we all resume with our workforces in our offices very, very soon. Some of us have already resumed. I think some in this side of the country are still working from our homes, but soon, very soon.
Thank you.
So stay safe.
Thank you.
All the best.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
All the best.
Bye.
Thank you,
everybody.
Bye, Reza.
Bye.
Bye, Vishnu. Bye, Suma.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Bye.
Thank you so much.